Hi, I'm Charlie and I'm a commercial and wildlife photography based here in England. As part of my profession, I have various lenses of various lengths and sizes and wide angles and long lenses, as you'd expect. But also in my arsenal of equipment is the drone. And this is my latest addition. It's the DJI Phantom 4 Pro. Anything I say about this during this video goes for the Phantom 4 Advanced at the same time. Oh, and the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, if that makes sense. I've used drones in the past. I've flown with Inspire 1s, previous Phantoms, and I've also had a Mavic. But I say now I'm using this. Now when this one came out, my little eyes lit up because of the variable aperture lens, having 5 stops, which goes from 2.8, f4, 5.6, f8 and f11. And I thought, absolutely marvellous. We can say goodbye to using filters for the video side. Maybe. On the photographic side, the drone is brilliant. I couldn't ask for really a more stable platform given its price point. It takes good, crisp, raw images. They're easy to process. I have no real problems with the autofocus. It's a very good, precise piece of equipment. But getting back to the video side, my hopes were dashed really when I first took it flying. I was trying to do a kind of a seaside shot, and of course. I always shoot, always, whenever I can, I shoot at 100 ISO. I shoot at 25 frames per second, being in the UK and Europe. So my shutter speed is at 50 for the second. And then obviously I've got 5 stops of light to play with. And I found myself up at f11, and I was still sort of cranking at 200th, 250th of a second, which was obviously less than I had hoped for. So I was destined to buy more filters. Now in the past, Polar Pro has been the weapon of choice, and they come in packs of 3. This is the Cinema series, which has the ND and Polar filters. There's an ND, PL4, 8 and 16, and they come in at around about 98 quid. You can also get another pack of 3, which is the standard ND filters, which come in the same sort of price, but you can also get a pack of 6, which come in at £189. Quite expensive really. And then I discovered Skyrate, which is another Chinese company, and they're all allegedly made from aircraft grade aluminium, and I use these and they are absolutely brilliant. I can't tell you any different than the Polar Pro ones, except they're cheaper. They seem to be exactly the same standard of build. They screw on. Everything is exactly the same, except the price is somewhat less. And in this pack here, there's 4 filters rather than the 3, and you get an ND4, an ND-PL8, an ND8, and an ND-PL16. So you've got a 4, 2 8s and a 16, 2 polar and 2 straight ND, and they're absolutely great. They work absolutely fine. The only drawback with them, which is the same with the Polar Pro, is once you've used them and you bring your craft back, before you wrap it up, if you're using this standard gimbal guard, then you have to revert back to the UV filter that comes with your drone. A small price to pay. As I'm sure most people are aware, that variable aperture lenses work best at 2 stops from wide open. So this one being a 2.8 to f11, so 2.8, f4, 5.6 is apparently the best aperture to give you quality results. So working on that, I use a light meter before the aircraft takes off to try to get the right filter on the craft before we go. And then I'll send the aircraft up, and hopefully at 100 ISO, 25 frames per second, 50th of a second at f5.6, and I can get my footage. If it varies a little bit and I have to open it up or close the aperture down a bit, then it's no big shakes, because at the end of the day, 15 to 20 minutes later, it's going to come back for a battery change, and then I'll rethink and put a different filter on. The point I'd like to make is that if you are going to buy or have bought one of these Phantom 4 Pro, Phantom 4 Pro Plus, or the Phantom 4 advanced, then please don't think you're going to be able to get away with good cinematic type image without these. Otherwise you'll get exactly what I did when I was down the coast a few days or a couple of weeks ago, and when I did my panning work across the seafront, and then you get this, because I'm not at 50th of a second, you're getting this staccato effect as you can see the verticals stutter within the frame rate as it goes across the field of view. So sadly, the days of no longer using filters aren't here yet. But there we go. Anyway, that's really what I want to say about this set of filters. Bar their price, of course. These come in, instead of at 94 for 3, these come in at £69 for 4. I think it's a no-brainer, really. It kind of makes perfect sense. I'll leave the links in the comments below on I think it's the See More button. You have to press it and you get the drop-down menu of what I've used. And just one little tip before I go, because I was out filming yesterday. In the morning I was doing some sort of harvest gathering. We use a forage harvester to gather up cut grass for winter feed for cattle here. So I was following tractors and trailers up and down the fields with the Phantom. And I got some really good footage, except for one section where I was following the tractor and trailer along, and as it swung back into the light, suddenly the aperture started changing. And obviously this doesn't normally happen with a fixed aperture lens, but with the Phantom 4 Pro series, and if you're not in manual, and I wasn't, I was in aperture priority, and then suddenly when you review your footage, you can see the image darken or lighten when you're swinging towards or away from the sun. It was no big shakes at the end of the day, because I just went back up, put it to manual, reshot the footage when the tractor came on its next pass. And then yesterday afternoon I was doing a commercial job for a nearby fisheries, filming the fishing lakes, and that was another good little job. The Polar Pro filters, sorry, not the Polar Pro, the Skyrate filters came into their own then, because obviously there's water involved, and the polar effect of the PL filters then really comes into effect, and I made a much better job. I think that kind of wraps this video up. Please like and subscribe. Like I say, I've mentioned these down in the drop-down menu, so if you like, have a look down there. But make sure you buy some, whether you buy the Skyrate or the Polar Pro. It's up to you. But don't think that you're going to get away with using this for decent cinematic footage without filters. I thought you could, and I'm afraid you can't. Take care. Fly safe. Bye bye.